I have no idea what happened. We're going to try this one more time. If it goes out again, just go to kungfuhavok2 to see what you missed. Because the other video, I'm done. I'm going to have to make a part 2 to that. So I did all that I said I was going to do for that, except for bound fighting. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to redo some stuff. Less talking, more action, try to fall over this rock. And, do some more martial arts stuff that you guys might like. If I make another video, you guys could probably do with it or stitch it. I did not record, or I deleted the live recordings. There's no point in me taking up extra space on my phone, especially since I'm also recording for my YouTube channel at the same time. So you guys can always go to kungfuhavok2. Just look for me. I'll be in an adventure shirt with a bow and arrow, like this. And you'll be able to find everything that you've missed so far. So we're going to try this again with the fan, then the chain, then the nunchucks, then the compass. Alright? And if we're still alive, I will do the bound fighting one more time. If not, I will continue on with the YouTube channel. And then you guys can go see that at about like 10 o'clock tonight or whatever, East Coast time. Because then I should have it posted up by then. Because after I do this, I will go post it. But I don't really know how long the posting process takes. Because after I post them, I don't go back and check them until something comes across my phone to let me know that somebody's watched it or whatever the heck it is that they do. Anyway, that being said, we're going to go with this Chinese fighting fan. The giant fighting fan, and if you're not up to speed, it was used in the protection of concubines. They use the smaller ones too. The smaller ones are more concealed, and a paper cut is very dangerous as I tighten up this damn fan. So like I said, your strike and your strike is also your shield and your shield. So you're shielding each side. So this is more like your strikes. If you watched Worf in the Klingon Battler, pretty much the same thing. Only that's mine. Now you can add in that whirl. You don't have to. Because again, in a real fight, you're never going to have to do that. Boom, boom, boom. So, there. I'm trying to keep this fast just in case it doesn't work out one more time. Okay, so go with this exceptionally long chain. Now you see how long it is. So I cut it in half. Hopefully you guys can see my body. On TikTok. Alright, so the thing about the chain is you have range. Alright? So you need to be able to master your range with the chain. Something is going on with my TikTok. I'm not going to stop. I don't know what that sign is, but anyway. So here, you're working it. You have to be able to control that damn thing. See how I missed? But that's how you recover. From there, you generally want to kick in the direction that you want to send the chain. Boom, boom. That way you have control over where it's going. You don't want to do the opposite of that. Because if you, let's see if I can try it. Sometimes your body works like second nature. So if I sling the chain this way, I'm going to try to kick that way. So, yeah, that doesn't feel right. So we're going to sling the chain. Boom. That way I'm following right behind it. You're going to be in front of the chain. Then you're going to stop here. Kick. Slap, slap. You know, if you know how to do the chain whip, you're a step better than I am, for sure. Because that has the wrap down here and around. You can get it all the way around your neck. Here, there, there. You have to be able to control where this thing's going to land. Because you don't want to hit yourself down here, because that would be bad. But you know, you have to drop attack where it doesn't work with this chain the way it will work with the chain whip. So, for the dark, something else is happening. I don't know what that is. I will accept that. Anyway,
Hello.
good day. Your voice will be on my YouTube because I'm doing two things at once just to give you clarity of what's going on here. Nice to meet you, by the way. The thing with controlling any kind of chain or long-range weapon is you have to be able to know where that thing's going. Prediction is not always an option. See, at low range or short range, I have control. So if someone's coming, boom, I can whip it and I can whip it. At a little longer range, I got full control. I know where this damn thing is going most of the time. So your hand control and knowing how to grab and get it back, boom, 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 boom. 9 times out of 10, if you're using a chain, you're not going to have to worry about using your feet very much unless it's multiple attackers. And then that can happen. No, I did not hit, well, it disappeared. I did not hit myself in the crotch. Thank God, because that's going to suck. So here, you're going to decide where you're going to attack. So if somebody's coming in, they're not going to just walk through this. Now they have a chance. Boom, 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 boom. Now notice, I keep control of that chain. Doesn't look like it, but I have complete control of this chain. That's a dump, because this can happen, and it's all she wrote. You can say goodbye to your 3 best friends. Because if you're a woman, you don't have that problem that I know of. I'm a man, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if you're a woman if you would have that problem. Now, certain attacks have its purpose, which is why when you want to slow it down, an open hand, an elbow, something you catch it, will keep it from flying right in this direction. That's a big fat no-no. And as you can see, this is set up like a jump rope so that I can have more control versus trying that shit like full on. Now you see how I got all messed up there? Plus there's a tree. So you need to know how to control your chain. Still too long. So now I shortened it. And now that I've shortened it, I got a little bit more control. Except for this section in the middle, because that's drooping. So now, anybody coming at this chain, they're going to be hurt. Now don't think because it's a plastic chain that it can't hurt someone. Anything put into a martial arts hands becomes part of your skill set. If you are not being taught that, you should probably go to a different martial art teacher. No offense to anybody who's doing martial arts here, but I'm just pissed off. I have a knack for telling the truth, and you're either going to like it or you're not. Being able to switch and control is very important with these chain type weapons. And not all chains work exactly the same. Something you should probably know. Now, I don't know if that's gonna work. Anyway, these are nunchucks. And the reason why I bought them, before I go on, these are not Marvel Black Panther nunchucks, but they are Black Panther nunchucks. And I thought they were cool. And before Garfield went out of business, I bought them from him. At least I think that's why I bought them. Anyway, nunchucks are deadlier to the person using them versus who you are using them on. Remember, these things, when they hit something solid, they come right back at you. So everything is wrist control. And it doesn't really matter if you're going to hold it up here, or here, or here. As long as you have control over it, there's no worries. These are some don'ts. Until you learn how to use them, you don't want to do what I just did, which is switch hands. Shit can go wrong. A lot. Anyway, as I do more demonstrations, nunchucks can be considered more short range than anything else. I do not recommend taking any weapon into battle just due to the fact that something can go wrong. Someone can take them from you. You know, you can knock yourself out. You don't do this with nunchucks, especially if you're a dude, because this shit will hurt. You got to be careful on recoil, because it'll come back and cluck in your head. You don't try to do too many of these, because that happens. You might lose some teeth. You know, there are a lot of fancy things that people will do with nunchucks. I don't recommend it. Strike, strike, strike. You want to add your feet in, you still want to go in the same direction that you are swinging. So if I'm swinging out, if I want to go with this left leg, boom, boom. That way I have some control of where I am. If I'm swinging in, boom, I want to follow through. But I also want to make sure I keep traveling with that nunchuck so that it doesn't stop and hit me, because something can go wrong. And as I say in all my videos, 1,000 things will go right after 200,000 things go wrong. In other words, expect something to go wrong before it goes right. When you take a weapon into a fight and you don't know who you are going into combat against, it's a good chance that they can take this thing from you. So, being able to whirl it, these are great tricks. But you're not going to get the chance to do much with these damn things outside of the following. So, you have your basic quarter strike, boom. You got your return, boom. Or you got your whip down, whip up. And you see how that doesn't have a whole lot of control? You go from this side, you'll watch how this thing spins slightly out of control, boom, boom. Now I got a little bit of control because of where my wrist is. But if I try it from here, it still loses a tiny bit of control. Now, from here, so as you can see me catch it from the elbow, yeah, that's my favorite way to catch it. I just hit my funny bone because I didn't have control of the weapon. And that hurt like shit. So you have to understand, your do's and don'ts are very important. You have to remember that these things, they hit solid shit. They're attached to a chain. They come back. They can hurt you really, really badly. Now, this is a do-don't. Because if you don't know how to block with these things, you're going to be in some trouble. So instead of trying to swing for the fences, first, let's give you some simple blocks. Boom, boom, there's your strike. Boom, boom. Now for those two strikes, one was throwing a right, so I block with the check, striking this part of their wrist, and then I'm going to travel down the arm and go for the throat. That was this, boom, boom. Now for the other side, they're throwing a left, it's the exact same shit. Boom, and slide down. I'm not going to bring the chucks back in. Boom, 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 boom. Now, if you're practicing Wing Chun or Kung Fu, that's why the guard's here. Alright? So, 9 times out of 10, this is your range. Your arm, where you're holding this weapon, and this part of the weapon, times the motion of whoever's coming at you. They're coming at you from this angle, boom. 9 times out of 10, if you hit them with this, unless they're on steroids, they're going to sleep. Or they might die. So that's why I say you don't take things like this to a fight, because you can kill someone. And if your teacher isn't teaching you that, you probably don't want to use these in a fight. Alright? Just for everybody's safety and health. If you want to train with these things, it's great. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to walk down the street Michelangelo and the shit out of people. You know, they're great training tools. Great. You're in a movie, everything's going to work out because they're going to teach the guy to fall halfway in, and they'll have the over-the-shoulder camber trick. So when I'm flinging here, the guy on the receiving end is going with that. The camera will be over the shoulder, and it will look just like I hit this guy. Now, you want to practice safely, so, you want to do things. I forgot to put my gloves on so I don't lose grip. So now we're going to go into the things that got me banned the last time, these wooden commas. They're wooden. It's like everything I pulled out except for that plastic chain. They're all wooden. Now, a practice weapon is just as deadly as an actual tool or an actual weapon. However, it has to be in the hands of a true master or a true martial artist, depending on what you want to call yourself at the time. Again, you're never going to be walking down the street with wooden ones or steel ones, and you don't live in feudal Japan, Warren State era Japan, and you don't live in China in those ancient days. So for training purposes, first, your don'ts. When you're here and you whirl that thing like that, that is a don't. You will see me do that various times today. All right, but remember, I just told you it's a don't. So if you see me boom and then this, it's a don't. Because in the real fight, you're not going to have time to do that. You want to keep your fight weapons exactly the way they are. So when you're blocking and you're striking, boom, you're gashing. This is blocking, this is striking. You want to do the other way, boom, boom, boom. But it's not going to be boom, boom, whirl it, because that's going to happen. So it's also not going to be boom, 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 boom. I tried to whirl the damn thing slow. So let's try it from this angle. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's not something that you're going to do. You're going to keep it basic. Boom, boom. You've got them. Pull out. You're done. Or you're going to gash, gash. So it just depends on who you're taught by. Boom, boom, boom. Not boom, boom, boom. Because that's going to happen. I'm not dropping them on purpose. Boom, boom, boom is correct. Boom. Here, where I had to twirl it around, no. See if I can do it with the left hand. Boom, boom, boom. There. See, I would have cut my own hand. So you don't do that. You keep that shit basic. Boom, boom, boom. Now we're going to simulate tonfas. So these are no longer going to be commas. Tonfas have extra things and no blades. So those are the police weapons. Block, strike, block, 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 strike. Now I'm an outside to inside guy. This is the outside to inside. Outside, boom. This is the inside to outside. I don't prefer that because you're going to hit yourself in the ribs. If you don't get full extension, you're going to hurt yourself. So that's me at full extension. This is me at not full extension. So not only am I tearing up my arm, but I'm tearing up my rib. So you don't want to do that. Now you want to learn your blocks. The tonfas are easy to block with. They're actually easier to block with than they are to strike with. They're a lot easier than commas, but commas have blades. Tonfas do not, unless you got like some modified ass shit. So with your commas, block, block is the same as your boxing blocks. Boom, boom. It's not much difference in a boxing block. Saying if you're going to do Thai fighting, you know, real Thai fighting, not the American watered down kickboxing, but you're going to do it this way. Boom. There you go. Boom. You're going to use those. Boom. Understand. Now me, I'm going to tell you personally, I don't like those. I do not like inside to outside. I prefer outside to inside because it's safer. I get around, I got better range, I got less chance of hitting myself in the arm. I also can always come back and block in case I mess myself, like if my opponent steps back. So if I'm throwing this, you sidestep, but my arm's still going, I've just saved my own arm by blocking because some people have broken their own arms with tonfas. Don't ask, it can happen. Because a tonfa, these are not tonfas, these are commas, but a tonfa, it's wider. It will cover your entire hand to wrist ratio. And if it doesn't, then you probably got a child's pair instead of an adult pair. So you want to be able to do that. The grip does not look like this. It is very round at the top, and it is a round stick all the way through. I do not have tonfas. These commas are my simulated tonfas for that very reason, because I don't have any money to go buy real commas or tonfas anymore. But anyway, so block, strike, versus block, strike, versus block, and strike. Now, when I do inside to outside, I got to move away, which not only takes away some of my momentum, but it also throws me off balance. But if I do block and outside, I still have better control. Now, you are not me, so this might work better for you, but it doesn't work for me. So what works for me is I'm blocking and I'm doing it outside to inside versus I'm blocking and doing inside to outside. Now, if I'm blocking here, I can always thrust the elbow because I can block and then strike, or I can block and then strike. It just depends on where I am on foot positioning. This is why that three-man attack thing with the triangle grates, tomato grates, would have been a lot better for you. So remember, these are actually commas, but how I was just using them was a tonfa form. So if they're here, I'm using them to simulate tonfas. Boom, strike. Boom, strike. Boom, there's a strike. Boom, there's a block. There's a block. Now, I left off some shit, so let me get over that real quickly. So a lot of blocks involving tonfas can protect this way as well as this way, but for like someone throwing a round kick here and you can't really get out of the way to do this to catch them or this to catch them, then you want to be able to block with the tonfa. So they're throwing a round kick and your block is there in case you can't get out of the way. And you can block this way, and if you block this way and then do that, you've done your inside to outside. So you saved yourself a double negative, but you know, boom, boom will probably work because they're coming from your right. Where it'll be your left, their right foot. Now, if you're really good, you can just block and get out of the way. And when they go through, so they're going all the way through, and you just wham, because they'll be right here. And if you want to be really nasty, boom, you can catch them in the middle, which means one will be here and one will be there. It'll look like both of them are facing this way, but you're going to catch them in the gut. Now, always remember there's a chance that this shit can go completely wrong because things happen in fights. And again, for commas, this is a don't. Glad I actually got to keep that. Didn't get to keep it that time. But anyway, we're going to use tonfas. The real don'ts will depend on you and your teaching. For me, this is a don't. I don't do inside to outside. I do my best work outside to inside. Now, commas, you don't have to worry about that because these things are supposed to be sharp and they're supposed to gut the shit out of people. So, your block and your slice, your block and your slice, your block, strike, strike, you know, you're going to figure that shit out. And again, real life, you're not going to be walking around with these things. You're not going to jump into a fight with Power Rangers or putties and have these things readily unavailable. You're going to have these though. So you better be straight for that. Okay, so finally we're going to do the one thing that I wanted to do last time. Bound fighting. So as you know, let's go ahead and give you guys that, what the hell do they call it? The PSA of please don't try this at home, especially if you don't have martial arts training. So I've been training with my hands, fighting behind my back since I was 12 years old. I highly do not, let me stress this, I highly do not recommend that you attempt to try this shit. Even with martial art training, shit can go wrong. So we're going to do the back first. I'm just showing you these are about to be on my hands and they're about to be behind me. There are a lot of don'ts in this besides not trying it at home. Okay, just to get that out of the way as I struggle to tighten this thing up and wrap it behind my back. Yeah. This is what happens when you also don't have a training partner. You don't have anybody to assist you with doing the shit you do. Alright, there's not a lot of blocks I can teach you. Okay? So when their hands are behind their back and they're tied, this is your number one rule. Get out of dodge. I so wanted to swear right there. I really did. But I'm not going to, if I can help it. Just in case that's might have been what got me banned. So here my hands are behind my back. As you can see, this is my range of motion. Not a lot of blocks I can do here. Understand? Boom, boom. This will probably work for kicks like that. It won't work for an axe kick because this is an axe kick. Alright? It won't work for a jumping push kick because I'm not going to be able to get around without sidestepping. And if I'm not fast enough and I just got sweat in my damn eye. Sorry, got to come back out. If I'm not fast enough, I'm going to get taken out. So if I don't sidestep in time for your push front kick or your jumping front kick or even a jumping spinning back kick, I'm a dead man. Alright? And we don't want that. So now we're going to teach you what I wanted to teach you the last time. And before this thing goes like caca. So in this scenario, you have been tied up. Your hands only. Your feet are fine. Now I'm going to teach you your escape brackets. Alright? There's not a lot that I can teach you with your hands tied behind your back other than how to escape. I prefer to stick to basics, so I'm only going to teach you basics. I'm going to teach you basic kicks to escape and run. I'm not going to teach you shit that you can't use. Alright? Now you could probably get a knee in there if you're tall enough, if you're fast enough, but we're not doing that. I'm going to teach you what kick you need to do and what you need to do after the kick is administered. Alright? So, the guy's in front of you. He's kind of running. You got your options. You have a step into him side kick. That's probably going to get you hurt if he's got a lot of speed. You have your side step. If you can get a knee when you sidestep, boom. You want to catch him in his sternum or his stomach then he goes down. When he goes down, you get out of dodge. You find the closest exit and you run. Now, outside to inside crescent kicks are best because they put you in a position, providing that you don't miss your target, to escape. This is an outside to inside crescent kick coming from the left to the right. Boom! Now he'll be over that way because that's the direction that you were trying to send him in. You're going to shift your hips this way and you're going to run that way. Unless you've accidentally kicked them in the direction of the only door in the room, which will probably force you to have to engage, which will be a big problem because your hands are tied behind your back. So understand where you are before you decide what kick you're going to do. Now we're going to do the same kick, other leg, and put him in that direction, in case the door is over there and not over there. So where the door is where you want to not send him. The door is over there. You want to send him over there. So he's coming. Boom. Now your inside to inside crescent kick has put him in that direction. He's in that direction. You land it this way. You're going to shift your hips and you're going to run. You're going to run for that door. Hopefully, that door will not be locked. And if it is locked, well, you're going to have some problems. So you should be trying to get your hands free in that entire event. Now, for you contortionists, which I am not, you can just do that contortionist thing, where you take your arms and do whatever the hell it is and get it from over you. Now, other kicks, inside to outside crescent kicks instead of outside to in. So this is an inside to outside crescent kick. Boom. Now you sent him in that direction. All right? You've still landed in a position of either engagement or escape. It's just the outside kicks put you in a better position than the inside to outside kicks. All right? So from the inside to outside, he's coming. Boom. I set him over there, but I'm still standing here. If I don't hurt him and he recovers, I'm in trouble. All right? Now I have to figure out how to either take him on or get out. I advise you specifically to get out. Do not try to engage somebody with your hands tied behind your back. You are not a movie star, you are not Bruce Lee, and you are not Jesus Christ. So that's probably not going to work out for you unless you know something that I don't know, like telekinetics or some shit. And if you have that, this class is not for you. Now, again, the reason why I say that is because depending on how this person takes that hit, it's either going to hurt them or piss them off. If you kick them hard enough and you knock them out because your momentum plus their momentum equals possibly going to sleep, then you're good. But if you have no way out, then when that guy hits the ground, you want to immediately be on that person. I'm sorry if this offends people, but you want to put your fucking leg on top of their neck so that they can't breathe. If you can sit on their chest because they're the bad guys, then you do that. If you can't sit on your chest, then you want to be able to escape. I'm sorry, there's a groundhog right there. 1 second. Time out. You get to see what Kung Fu Havoc 2 won't get to see. Because there's a groundhog right there. Anyway, moving on. Your inside to outside crescent kicks, they only put you in a position of possible escape versus your outside to inside crescent kicks, which puts you in this escape position. Let me show you again in case you missed it when we were looking at the groundhog, which I hope actually showed you. So, inside to outside, boom. Now, if he doesn't fall solid, and he just stumbles, you're going to engage. In the events that you have to engage, you need to keep it basic. We will do that in a second. The groundhog just bailed. He must have saw me kicking. Now, outside to inside. So he's coming at you. Then you want to put him over on that side. So you want to use your left leg because it sends him to your right. And the door is on your left. So you want, boom. Now you're here. You do not have to engage. You just switch off and you run off. That's your safety bet. Now, when you're doing it the opposite way, as I just did before this, when you do the inside to outside kick, you may have to engage. So let's say you've done this kick, boom, he's right here. He's not down, he's just over a little bit. So now you have to engage. So he's going to come at you. Low front kick, side kick. Now here's a dump. Watch carefully. This is a do. Boom, boom. This is a don't. Now, I know you're thinking, but that looked okay. Yes, it looked okay. But you have to calculate a few factors. All right, one, this guy can block that kick. Two, this guy can duck that kick, and you are defenseless because your hands are still behind your back. Watch my body with this damn spinning back kick. Watch carefully. I am not balanced. Your charger's on my bed. Your charger is on my bed. The gray one. I'm live, so whatever. Anyway, watch my body. I will be completely out of balance. Okay? So when I do it again without the ropes, you'll see the difference. But right now, one more time, I'm not going to be in complete balance, which throws you in a fight. So I crescent kick them inside to outside. He's right here in front of me. I do a front kick. I might be good. I got to put more power behind it than that's just that little lift. But if I do this, and he ducks that shit, he's hitting me in my testicles. Or he's going to just pick me up and body slam me. Or he's going to forearm me because I have no means of protecting my head. I'm not that flexible. See, I can't get this all the way up there. You know, and 9 times out of 10, these belts are generally going to be tighter than that. So, you know, if you're going to do a inside to outside crescent kick, boom. He's in the position of engagement, boom. Okay, you want to keep it basic. You don't want to leave both feet off the ground at any time. You do not want to turn your back to your opponent at any time because that gives him the tactical advantage of he can strike you. He knows you're tied up. You know you're tied up. So he knows that he's going to have to do something extreme. Now, you could probably use a knee. And like I said, that's if he's charging you. If he's charging you and you're fast enough to sidestep, you want to throw that knee in there, then you throw that knee in there. But if he's like super fast, just sidestep him and trip him. Don't try fancy shit. Fancy shit is a quick way to get your ass beat. Alright? As you notice, I didn't go through a lot of blocks here. So we're going to do that really, really quickly. For those who took Taekwondo and Thai fighting, these blocks are going to be really simple for you. For those who took regular ass karate or Wing Chun, these blocks are not going to be as simple. If you took Kung Fu, your blocks will be simple because it's the same thing with Taekwondo, same thing with Kempo, same thing with whatever the fuck I just said before that. So your blocks will be with your legs. So you can block with your knees, you know, you can block with your feet, you can do those things. Any headshot, you're in trouble. So you're going to have to learn how to duck, you know, dodge. Sometimes the side step doesn't always work. Sometimes this leaning thing doesn't work. And they have 2 hands. Yours is tied up. Let's keep it in reality. I'm not a contortionist, so I can't do the over-the-shoulder thing. All right? But I know what I'm doing this far. So he throws a kick, boom, I kick his kick. He throws another kick, I kick his kick. He throws a punch, I gotta duck that sumbitch. If I can't duck that sumbitch, I pray like hell that I can receive that hit, so I'm gonna roll with it. That way, it won't be as impactful. And if I'm lucky, it won't kill me. Now, amongst other things, you know, sidestep, that's fine. You can do that. But there will be some parts of this fight that's not going to work out like that. Because in reality, your hands are tied up. And you're the one that's the victim that's going to have the problem. So again, we revert back to the first thing that I was teaching. You want to be able to keep this shit right. You want to do an outside to inside crescent kick. And you want to not have to engage. Again, outside to inside, whether you go left or right, you want to know where that door is. My door is over there. I'm sending him over there. Boom. I got my hips exactly laid where I need to be. I'm out. I'm not fancy. I'm not being Bruce Lee. I'm not being these superstars that fight with their hands tied up because nobody really does it. But I'm not doing that dumb shit. I'm going to escape and run for my life because my hands are tied up. Now we're going to go to the front. All right. Now I get to tighten the ropes up better. And I also get to show you the difference. And you can still fall with your hands tied in front of you. So don't think that you can't. Now just to get that out the way. Now don't think that you can't fall with your hands tied in front of you. Nothing is impossible. And again, let me state that nowhere in your life will you be in a situation with your hands tied in front or behind you outside of being in the movies or on TV? This buckle sucks, by the way. So you kind of want to protect yourself from the buckle. And again, don't try this shit at home. Even if you got martial art training, something can go wrong today and I can mess myself up. I'm not going to let that happen if I can help it. But it's not to say this shit can't go wrong. Okay? Now, this is easier. This is more survivable. This is more realistic because of the fact that you can still block now. Now you can protect your head as well as your body. So we'll run through that because in the last video that I wanted to do live, everything went to hell. So, high right with knee, low right. High left with knee, low left. Now the reason why I did that is because depending on what style of martial art you've taken, kickboxing, Thai fighting, you're using your knees. Alright? You're also going to incorporate elbows if necessary. So if he's throwing a round from his left foot, boom, you got it. You're going to catch that foot in his body on your femur and pray that he's not strong enough to break the damn thing. But you're going to catch it. Boom. You know? And this way you have a defense mechanism. So when you're blocking that kick. And if he has anything else, you still have your hands free. Now you got to learn how to use this as a weapon. So the only thing I can really teach you with that is like if he throws a kick and you block and you get back down and you're back in the fighting position, if you can get to where his neck is, boom, a butterfly strike, it would look like this normally, but since your hands are tied, it's kind of hard to get him in there. You just want to have both your fists clenched, boom, and you want to thrust it into his neck. That's your safest bet because if he can't breathe, he can't hurt you. You can try to go for the sternum, but if you don't get that knot directly in the right spot, you're pretty much vulnerable. You're vulnerable for him punching down on you. Now the reason why this is easier is because now you have more options. You got blocking, boom, 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 boom. Understand? Let me try that again from this side. So you have blocking. Boom, boom, boom. So you understand where that's going. Alright? So now if he's on this side, you can block and you can pull and you can elbow. You can block, pull his arm, put your shoulder under his elbow, snap down and push up. You got options now. And then from there you can still elbow him. Primary targets, elbow, ribs, sternum, depending on where he's located. If he's behind you, boom, got him here because he's going to bend over. Then you could just thrust these things back into his throat and then lock your hands around the back of his neck and keep pulling. So he's going to stop breathing before he does anything to you is when the friction of reality comes in. You need to hang on to him no matter how many times he's hitting you because he's going to run out of breath. That's your whole goal, was to put him out of breath so that you can escape. Now, your inside to outside crescent kicks, you have the ability to engage now. Because even though your hands are tied, they're tied in front, which gives you the option of returning a hit if you have to. So again, if you want to escape, same concept, but now you can engage. So you're going to do an outside to inside crescent kick. You're sending him this way, which when you hit him, he's in this position. You can grab him and engage. Boom! You have a knee. It's the closest target to him. Or you can kick him. You know, you've already kicked him, so he's a little dazed. If you kicked him hard enough, he should be dazed. If you didn't kick him hard enough, you're going to piss him off, which means you're going to have to engage. So if you have to engage and your hands are tied, you need to understand how this works. Boom, boom, boom. These are your blocks. Let me show you from this angle. Boom, 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 boom. You're going to need to know how to move. Your feet aren't tied, so you will be able to do all that I just showed you. Now, learning how to block with your hands. Your hands are now one hand. You need to work them as a team of one. Boom. Boom. Now, the reason why you're saying it is a team of one is really simple. I can't move them. Now, I can move them here, but I'm bound. And since I'm bound, I need to learn 2 or 3 things about this really, really quickly. How can I use this rope if I can't get it off against my opponent? So he's throwing the right jab. Boom. I can lock it in. His arm, I can lock it with this rope and have him in between. This is his arm. He's come across. I've locked it in now. All right, now I have his arm. I can hold him now. As I'm holding him, boom, 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 boom. Now, being that this is a weapon, if that's the human arm, you want to lock it in. You want to get it either right there or on the joint or on the muscle. The trick is you have to get it there. That's where the fighting part comes in. It's not just about how you blocked. It's how you locked and grappled. You're going to have to do that. You got to do a lot of shit that you don't know how to do to make sure this guy's not beating the fuck out of you. And you forget one thing. He has two hands. His hands are not bound. So you need to get to the outside of your opponent. Here's where we have a problem. So I'm going to give you a quick kung fu lesson. Really, really quickly. Alright? If you take a traditional karate or freestyle karate, then you know about positioning. And if you don't know about positioning, now you're going to learn about positioning. For karate, you're always taught block counter. So you're blocking and you're countering. For kung fu, your blocking and countering is one and the same. So you block, break, and counter. And in doing so, I don't know if that's going to work, but in doing so, with your blocking, breaking, and countering, you're going to have to be able to know what to do in the midst of it. Now again, your hands are tied. So you have to understand, this thing has become a part of your arsenal. And if it doesn't become a part of your arsenal, it's become a handicap. So you don't want to be handicapped in a fight. You want to be able to survive this shit. And again, also, there's no time in your life that you're ever going to have to fight with your hands tied. Unless you're making a movie. Or you're very unlucky. And if you're that unlucky, I don't know what kind of life you're living, but may God have mercy on your soul. So, when you block, if your hands are this far apart, you want to get his hand in between this section, where you can lock your hands together. You don't have to clasp them, but you know, if you can lock this thing around him, you can use that to break something on his body. Now, let's throw all that out. Let's throw all that out. So you're going to block him, and you're going to strike. And then you're going to strike again. Depending on where you hit. If you hit him here and he bends over, boom, you have him. Because you can push it right up into his throat. I am a small guy. I stand 5'3" and a half. If you want to add the half, the Army didn't count the half. But if you want to add the half, you have to understand how you hit somebody is not as important as where you hit somebody. If you go to any martial arts school and they're not teaching you that where you hit is more important than how hard you hit, then you need to go to a new school. I'm sorry if I'm pissing off any martial artists that are watching me right now. But the fact of the matter is, you don't need a lot of strength to bring someone down. You just need to know a lot of body mechanics. Alright? This is where Kempo comes in. You have to learn about supraradial nerves. Your hand's the easiest bone on your body to break. So you don't want to hit somebody with everything you got, because if you ever hit somebody and it hurts you more than it hurts them, you fucked up. Understand that. If I throw a punch and it rocks your jaw, but it doesn't put you to sleep, and you can keep coming, and I'm too busy doing this to realize that it did not hurt you, I fucked up. Simple as that. So you're going to hit, and you're going to follow through. Now my hands are tied, so that limits some of my motion. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to clasp your hands and do this, because you might break both of your hands. Because you don't know how hard that person's face is. If that person has a glass jaw, you're good. If that motherfucker has a super chin, not so much. You may break your hands on his face, which not gonna be good for you, because the fight's not over. Now you have to understand, when you're engaging somebody with your hands tied, you need to actually know what the fuck you're doing. So if you're blocking and you're striking, you're blocking, you're striking, you need to be able, when that part's done, you need to be able to get into another position as fast as you possibly can so you can continue the engagement. Now 9 times out of 10, if somebody's throwing a punch and you block it and you push them through, if you need them, your next move should be that. If you can't do that, then you need to do something else. So every time I invite somebody, they magically disappear. Anyway, if you need them and you elbow them, you want to stay on the outside of their body. Alright? So most people who teach Wing Chun or whatever, it's always go to the outside. Alright? Let me rephrase that. For me, it's go to the outside. I don't know what that is. What is that? Okay. Anyway. Uh-oh. Well, I lost somebody. Anyway, sorry about that. If you're going to teach Kung Fu, you will teach many different styles of Kung Fu. But for me, I always teach go to the outside. It's a lot easier for me to go to the outside because you have to reach over you to fight me. If I'm on the inside and I block your left punch, you still have a right punch and all of this shit is open. So if I'm blocking here and I catch one to the face, I'm in trouble. If I'm blocking here and I catch one to the ribs, I'm in trouble. But if I'm doing Kung Fu, I'm blocking, I'm getting on your outside. Now you're in trouble. So I got moves from here. If I have your arm and I break it, I can pull your body closest knee. If I want power, furthest knee. All right? And then you have to also learn that while you're fighting, your style is going to switch up in the middle of a fight. It's not going to be perfect Wing Chun. It's not going to be perfect karate. It's not going to be perfect Taekwondo because your brain is going 10,000 miles a minute, period. The only thing that's pumping through your head right now is how am I going to survive? I'm scared as hell. And these are the things that you are going to face in a fight, especially if it's not in a professional setting. If you are not a professional fighter, this video is not for you. But if you are a professional fighter, you can fact check me later. But the fact of the matter is, if I'm going to do Kung Fu and you're throwing a right punch, I want to get to your right side. I want to push you to the inside so that I can pull and throw a knee. If I can't get that knee when I pull, I want to throw an elbow because it's right at your head. But if I knee you and you're already bent over, my next move is right there because it's the closest move to me. Now if I want to throw power on it to make sure that I do damage, then I'm going to use this elbow because that elbow is going to bring torque. Boom. But this elbow is going to bring speed. And I'm tied up. So do I want to rely on speed or do I want to rely on torque? I'm going to rely on speed because I'm also like muscle memory is a thing. Second nature is a thing. So when I need them, boom, boom, because that's what my body's going to remember. My body's not going to be thinking, boom. And fights are situational. Remember, all fights are situational. Everything changes in a fight like that. In the blink of an eye, the fight can be in control. In the blink of an eye, your hands cannot be tied. But since your hands are tied, and this scenario is about you having your hands tied. Now, we're going to give you a dump. I know what you're thinking. When I do this kick, you're going to be like, okay, why is it a dump? It's a dump because you're turning your back on your opponent. Simple as that. That same spinning back kick that I did with my hands tied, boom. If you go back and watch this, you'll see the difference. And whatever you missed, you can watch it in kungfuhavok2 because I'm still recording. So when you see it with my hands behind my back, it's not going to be as fluent as this. Where my hands behind my back, it's going to be a little off, and I'm going to be a little off balance. So the ropes in my hands behind my back threw me off center while the hands in front of me, it's a don't because of the simple fact that my back turns to you. See, if I hit you and boom and push you back so you're back, and now to finish you, I throw a spinning back kick, or if I decide to do a spinning hook kick, you know, something's bound to go wrong. Like something is going wrong right now. Okay, my Wi-Fi is messed up. I don't know what just happened. I'm losing Wi-Fi, so I'm going to have to end this really quickly. So, again, if I choose to do a spinning hook kick, if I choose to use a spinning back kick, you know, my back is turned to you. In the blink of an eye, I could die because my back was turned to you for that small second. If you time this shit, somebody will time it. I can't time it. My hands are tied up. But if you time it, you know, if you time that small fraction of a second that my back is turned to you, my opponent can move in and I can go down. So you want to keep it basic. Your hands are still tied. Front kick. Side kick. Front push kick. Jumping front kick is a do and a don't. Because if you miss, you're in trouble. If they catch your foot, you're in trouble. You know, now, if you're an Ernie Reyes Jr. type, and they catch your foot and you can do the 180 or the 360, which I need an actual human to actually participate in, then don't do it. It's fine in the movies. You miss in real life, you're done. You do a Jeff Hardy thing, fine on wrestling, because it's trained. Everybody is expected to know the move and how to play through. In real life, not so much. You know, Those guys are professionals, and you have to understand it in a professional setting, things work differently because it's a routine and it's been done to death. Where you're fighting like this, boom, boom, there's your knee, boom, there's your elbow. Or you want to be a smartass, boom, boom, boom. Now, if you go back in time to see which one works faster, I'm only just going to tell you that when you block and you knee, it's just basic science. You know, it's not physics, it's just purity, body mechanics of basic science. I have sidestepped you, I have kneed you, and then I have elbowed you. Now there's still power behind that because when I put my foot down, I'm also bringing down gravity with my elbow. And they're going down at the same time, in case you haven't noticed. Boom, boom. Understand? Where when I do this, boom, boom, I still have to turn to put that power into your spine. Alright? And in the blink of an eye, if my foot goes down and I'm turning, who's to say your opponent can't pull your feet from under you before you put the elbow on him? At least with this one, boom, boom, it's like consistently right behind you. You will understand the difference with Kung Fu and Karate. It's a really pinhole difference, but it's really on how you use it. You know, for Kung Fu, I always tell people the same thing that I'm going to tell you now. If you get to the outside of your opponent, it makes it more difficult for your opponent. For Karate, you've already fucked yourself because one, you're blocking with one hand and countering with the other while they're doing the same thing. So you guys are going to block and counter all day until somebody gets one in. Where with Kung Fu, when I block and counter, it's the same damn motion. Boom, snap, boom. You know, let me take this off to actually show you what that should look like. If I can get my hand out. Yep, I'm stuck. Yeah, that happens when you practice. So the guy's throwing a punch, you're going to do here. This is going this way, this is going this way. So in other words, I'm going to break at the elbow because they're throwing a straight punch. One hand's on this side, one hand's on this side. So for that specific, my left hand is over on the other side of this, which means I'm over here and I'm pushing. I'm pushing the elbow and I'm pulling the wrist. So boom, all right? Now I'm breaking at the elbow. Understand I'm breaking the joint. I'm not breaking the wrist, I'm breaking the joint. It's a little bit more effective. When I break the joint, my next move is either going to be a throat or a rib shot. So their body's going to be here. I'm over here. Pull, push, this is broken. Strike or strike, fight's done. Wherever I'm doing karate, when they're throwing that right jab, block, counter. They have another hand. They might take a hit just so they can give a hit. And so you have to understand, if they block and they counter, and I'm blocking and I'm countering, we're going to be doing that shit all day. Somebody's going to get upset. I don't have time for that. So if I'm going to do karate, I'm going to block and I'm going to strike, but I'm going to be ready. So I'm going to strike with Wing Chun. So boom, I blocked your hand completely. I slid down here, but I have this hand to protect me from your other hand that's going to come across. I understand how that shit works. Now as far as kicks, you're not going to do this. Alright? And just because you can do that doesn't mean you should do that. You might do sequences. Boom, boom, boom. But even a sequence can go wrong. You might do a tornado kick. Boom. You're not going to use those in actual fights. Contact karate, sport karate, stuff like that, fine. Because it's a controlled environment, and two, you're wearing pads. And pads do not protect you from getting knocked out. They do protect you from some of the impact, but they don't protect you from being knocked out. Now, you're going to fight somebody, they're running, boom, they ran into your kick. 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 Those kicks, only 1 foot leaves the ground, with the exception of this. You know, those are safer kicks to use. This kick, boom. Yeah, you can get it around fast enough without getting kicked in the face. As you see, I couldn't get back up. I understand why I say you don't do that. Doing it in a movie, real life, 86 that shit. This kick, boom, boom. Okay, because it has a follow through, it's a do and a don't. Should you? Probably not. Can you? Yes, you can. Again, should you? Probably not. So another sequence. So you're going opposite now. Boom, boom. If that first kick nails them, that won't be necessary. If that first kick miss, and you miss the tornado kick, let's just say you're going to be in trouble. So instead of that, you may want to do this. Also, a do and a don't. Boom, boom, stop. If you have to stop, then follow back. All right, because your follow through is going to be important. You miss both of those, you're going to need to follow up. Because sequence kicks don't always work like that, especially on the grass or concrete. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to go post this thing now. Hey, Donnie. So, before I end, if I missed any questions, I'm sorry. I will not be saving this other than the YouTube thing. If I've offended anybody, I'm sorry. But I always try to tell people, I'm going to give you the truth. You're either going to take it or you're not. You're either going to like it or you're not. And I would much rather you be safe from learning shit that you can use versus shit you see in the movies that might work. And also on that, 70-30. This is why. 30% of what you just saw me do, without a doubt, unequivocally, is going to work in the streets. 70% of what you saw me do is only going to work in the dojo. And only in the dojo. Maybe sports karate. All of that shit's going to work in the movies because stuntmen are trained to go down. Real life, I would tell you, honestly, you stick with your basic 4. Your front, your sides, your sweeps. You stick with some shit that you can pull off. Elbows, knees. Things that are going to be effective with less chance of you going to the hospital. Where a lot of the fancy jumping, spinning kicks and tornado kicks, hell no. You do that shit in sports karate, that's great. They're looking for that kind of shit. In the streets, it's a very good chance that you're going to try a tornado kick and someone's going to duck and hit you in the testicles. Once that happens, your world is going to change extensively. I don't want you going on there and saying, well, James told me to do. No. James will tell you one time before I end this. So I'll tell it again. And this time I'm actually going to word it the way it was supposed to be worded. 1,000 things can go wrong in a fight before one thing goes right. And you need to know that. And anybody who's not teaching you that at school, you might want to get a second teacher. Alright? And the reason why I tell you that is because a lot of people who are teaching you martial arts have never fought. They may know martial arts. They may have black belts. But they have probably never fought in the streets. I have never fought professionally. I have fought in the streets. That wasn't a fucking choice. Because back in the late 70s and early 80s, in black neighborhoods, and most black kids can attest to this shit, we had fight rings. And I was the smallest guy. But nobody could whoop my ass. Now, the reason is, here's reality. I know where to hit you versus how hard to hit you. A man who can't breathe can't hurt you. A man who can't stand can still fuck your shit up. Try to remember that. Hello, Jill. I'm sorry. I want to thank everybody for being here. I hope that I taught you something. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry that the video that started before somehow lost internet connection. I don't know if this is still working, but people are about to come out and make noise, so I need to go. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys at the match game tonight. Later. Kung Fu Havoc #2, thank you for being here for this hour that you will never get back of your life. Be seeing you.